together a mini course that includes 2 in-depth lessons I pulled straight from my paid community, plus a bonus animation designed to be super practical for explainer videos. I also wanted to show you how I never run out of ideas for animations and how you can take images like this and animate them in DaVinci Resolve. If you guys want more 1 to 2 hour videos like this, make sure you leave a like and a comment. Alright, let's start with this animation. I've linked the assets to this down below, and any sort of text animation presets like this are also linked below. I just wanted to quickly show you guys where I get my ideas because I'm not just naturally creative or anything. So if we go to Pinterest here, say that an animation you were making requires a search bar. As you can see, I searched search bar graphic design. For example, simple one like this, or kind of a more modern creative one like this. The more you look, the better stuff you can find like this. And so for the animation we're making, I found this for inspiration. So I'm just going to take a screenshot of this and then we can build from there. So here we are in DaVinci in the Fusion tab. I'm just going to drag on a background just like this and connect it to the media out, and we're going to leave it black. Now for the moving gradients in the background, we're going to press Shift Space and add in a merge node. There's a number of ways to do this, but I found the easiest is just to find an MP4 video of something that looks like this. And then I'm going to select that and hit Shift Space and then add in a blur. I'm going to turn the blur size all the way up, and then I'm going to hit the media in 1 and click this rectangle. I'm going to drag the soft edge up like this. I'm going to drag the width out like this and the height down a little bit like this. Now I'm going to select the blur, hit Shift Space, add in a transform. I'm going to just resize this kind of something like that. So on the first frame here, we're going to select the media in 1, and we're just going to drag the trim up like this until it starts, something like that. And now if we press play, we have a moving gradient. That looks pretty cool. For now, I'm just going to drag all this over like this. I'm going to select this merge and hit Shift Space, add in another merge node. And now we're going to build our first widget. So for that, I'm just going to drag in a background and connect it. I'm going to select this square, which is the rectangle mask, and turn up the corner radius, just like this. And then drag down the width and the height. I'm going to add a transform in between here so that we can size this down. Now I'm going to click the background and select 4 corner gradient. And then I'm just going to select 1 corner and turn up the brightness a little bit like that. Now we have a bit of a gradient there. Now I added in this custom node called an SM outline. I linked it in the asset pack, but essentially if we bring this underneath the background, holding shift, it creates an outline. We can turn the stroke down. Again, I'm going to select 4 corner gradient, and I'm going to change this to black, and then I'm going to go to this corner, and I'm going to change this color to kind of a blue. We can adjust this later, but something like that's good for now. I'm going to drag the transform down and drag these up a little bit. And I'm going to select the SM outline, hit Shift Space, and add in a merge node. Now I'm going to drag in a icon, just like this, and connect it to the merge node. The reason I added a merge here instead of over here is because now I can select this transform and everything's connected like that. Again, I'm going to hit Shift Space and add in a transform in between these two so I can individually control the icon now. I'm also going to drag in a rectangle mask and connect it to the media in. And I'm going to drag up the soft edge. And now when I use the center XY positions, as you can see, we get kind of a faded effect if we drag it up. So you can see that. And I can also drag down the width, and we can get that on the edges too. So we have something that kind of looks like that now. Now we're going to add another little mini box for the title of this. So I'm going to select the merge, hit Shift Space, add in another merge like this. I'm going to select this rectangle and background and hit Command Copy, and then click over here, Command V, and paste it, just like this. I'm also going to copy this over. Now I'm going to select this rectangle. I'm going to drag the width down and the height down to something like this. I'm going to select the SM outline, hit Shift Space, add in a transform, and then we can drag that down just like this. Select the SM outline, hit Shift Space, and add in a merge. And this merge is for the text. For the text, I'm going to hit Shift Space and search PJT. These are all the text animations. These are all linked in the description, but if you don't want to get them, you can use this text node right here. It just won't come animated. I'm going to find the one that says fall down, just like this, and I'm going to add that in. I can connect this to the merge now, and as you can see, it's already animated, which is really nice. So I'm going to type in the word people, and then I'm going to select the text, hit Shift Space, add in a transform. So now we can size this down. I'm just going to center it in this box here. So I'm just going to quickly animate this bouncing in so that we can just duplicate this whole thing and everything's already done for us. So I'm going to go to the first frame here. I'm going to select the rectangle. I'm going to bring the width all the way down, keyframe it, go over 8 frames, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Drag this out about till it matches this edge. Go over 6 frames, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can drag that down past to where we want it, and then 4 frames, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then where we want it to end. So something like that. Now, as you can see, it kind of bounces in like that. And so if we click the spline, make sure this is all smoothed out by pressing S. Another thing to do is with the rectangle selected, make sure you select settings and turn on motion blur and turn up the quality a little bit. So if we drag our media out all the way out like this, we can then select all of this, press Command copy, click over here and paste. Now holding down Shift, we can bring it into the timeline like this. You just have to make sure they're all connected. As you can see, this isn't connected. So holding down Shift and then reconnect this like that. And I'm also going to reconnect this. Sometimes things get unconnected. So now we can select our transform and drag it over like this. I'm also going to size it down like this. And then I'm going to do the same with this one. Select the transform, size it down slightly, and then drag it over. And then I'm going to drag it up slightly. So now we have something that looks like that. And right away, we're going to just do that again. So I'm going to copy all this, press Command copy, drag this out so that we can stay organized here. Click over here and paste it in. Hold down Shift and connect this, hold down Shift and connect that, and then reconnect everything. Select the transform and bring this over just like that. And then we're going to select this transform and drag it over like this. So really quick with this one, I'm going to select the SM outline and I'm going to change this color to kind of a bit more of a purple, something like that. And I'll do the same with this one, kind of a bit more purple. So as you can see, we have 3 sections and this one is the end one here. So if I select the SM outline for this one, I'm going to change this to slightly more of a reddish kind of orange like that. And then do the same with this one, something like that. Now we can change this icon. So for that one, I'm going to drag in this icon of a paper airplane. All we have to do is delete the media in here and then reconnect this one here and here like that. We may have to do some readjusting. For example, it's a little bit big, so I'm going to size it down a little bit. And then I'm also going to select the rectangle and I'm going to increase the width a little bit so it's not as harsh. Now we can go to our end widget here and change the icon on this one too. So I'm just going to delete this media in and drag in this gear icon and connect it to the transform and then connect the rectangle like this. Now we can change the text as well. So I'm going to select the text node. I can change this to something like, I don't know, proto. And then I'm going to change the text of this one here to email. We're going to go to the very end here where our background is. I'm going to select the merge, hit Shift space, add in another merge. And here we're just going to add another text widget up here. I'm going to hit Shift space and type in PJT. And I'm going to search the elastic follower. And I'm going to add that in right here. I'm going to type in menu hub. I'm going to hit Shift space and add in a transform, size this down and bring it up. I'm changing the font to San Fran Pro Display. Now again, I'm going to select this rectangle and drag it on here, connect it to the text, turn the soft edge up like this, and then we drag this up. We get something that looks like that, and it kind of makes a nice gradient. So behind all the widgets, we want a second thing kind of connecting these. And so for that, we're going to hit this merge, hit Shift space, add in a merge node. I'm going to drag in a background and connect it to this merge. Select the rectangle, bring down the width and the height. Using the center X and Y, we can drag this over and up. For the background color, I'm going to drag the alpha kind of all the way down. I'm also going to change the color to a lighter gray. Again, I'm going to hit Shift space and add in a merge. And we're going to hit Shift space and type in PJT. This time I'm going to click letter zoom in. Now we can connect this to the merge like this, hit Shift space, add in a transform, and we can size this down. Change the font to San Fran Pro Display. I typed in something like ecosystem. We can select the transform and place it right about there. Now I'm just going to drag this text out of the way so it's more compact. Now I'm just going to select the merge, hit Shift space, and add in a transform. I'm going to select all this, hit Command copy, and paste it right beside it right here. We can select the transform and drag it to this side like that. Now we can change the text to whatever we want. I just typed in verified. So now we have some animating to do. If we go to widget 1 and then we're going to select the transform here. So I'm just going to go to frame maybe 15 and I'm going to keyframe the size so that it ends up at this size. And now I'm going to go back to the first frame and we're just going to drag the size down slightly like this. Now when it plays, it kind of zooms in like that. So now if we go to our second widget, which is this one, we're actually going to go to frame 40 and we're going to keyframe the center X and Y position right here. And then we're going to go to the first frame and drag it all the way on top of this in the middle. we're going to select settings and make sure motion blur is on for this. Now, as you can see, it slides over like that. We're going to go to the spline and make sure transform 2_1, which is this, is selected. And then we can just select this top one and press S. And now it's going to start out fast and end slow. Now we're going to go over to our last widget, which is this one. Select the transform, select frame 40, keyframe center X and Y position so that it ends up here on frame 40. Go to frame 1, and we're just going to drag this over top of this widget like this. Now we're going to go to the spline again. We're going to uncheck transform 2_1, and we're going to be left with this one. Select this and press S. Again, make sure you select settings and turn on motion blur for this one as well. So now we're going to deal with these things. We don't want these animations to start until these widgets have kind of reached the end. So we'll find the frame where we kind of want them to appear. So maybe frame 25, we'll have them appear. So to do that, we'll go to our second widget, which is this one, and we'll see that this is rectangle 2_1_1. So we're going to find this rectangle in the spline. And so as you can see, rectangle 2_1_1 is right here. So I'm going to click and drag and select all of these. And then I'm going to drag this all the way to frame 25. So now as you see, it doesn't appear until frame 25. I'm going to do the same with this one. And here it is, rectangle 2_1_1. So we're going to select that, select everything like this, and drag it just like that. And now we're going to drag these text animations until probably frame 27 we want them to start. So here it is right here, click that. And this is our text animation. So again, we're just going to select all of this, and then we're going to grab this one here, drag it, and try not to mess it up too much. And so now if we go to our second one, which is this one, we can see that it's text with 2 ones. So we just have to check on this text with 2 ones and do the same thing, drag it to frame 27. So now I'm just going to add in a mouse. I'm going to come to the end here, drag this out, click this merge, hit shift space and add in a merge. And then I can just drag in this mouse here and connect it to the merge. I'm going to hit shift space and add in a transform. And then we can size this mouse all the way down. And then I'm just going to drag it down and out of the way so we can't see it. About frame 35, we'll keyframe this mouse, center X and Y position. And then we'll go over however many frames, whatever, say frame 75, and we'll drag it over and up. Now something I did is I went to the middle of the animation here, and then I just selected the keyframe, and that creates another kind of bump here. We can just drag that like this, and then we can drag this kind of more like that. And then if we select that bump, we can kind of smooth it out like this. And that way it kind of creates a more natural looking mouse move. Another thing I'm going to do is select the media in and add in a camera shake by hitting shift space and searching camera shake. I'm going to turn the speed all the way down and then the overall strength down quite a bit as well. And that way, if you look at the mouse, we just get a bit of movement when it's hovering. So again, I'm going to select settings, turn on motion blur for that. I'm going to select this, hit S, and this one S as well. So now our animation appears, and then shortly later, the mouse comes up like this. Now, as the mouse touches this one, I want the outline to turn white. So I'm going to go to the frame right before it touches, so frame 65. I'm going to go to our first widget, which is this first one here. I'm going to select the outline, and I'm going to keyframe all the colors, just like this. Now, I'm going to go over 3 frames, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to change all these colors to kind of white, like this. Now, if we look at that closely, as it approaches like this, it turns white. Now, from what happens after this point is up to you. You can either have the mouse click and that brings you to a new page, or for this example, I just added in a merge and then I dragged this animation of a callout card. I added a transform just like this. I'm going to flip it upside down and bring it over here. Now, as you can see, the animation starts way before we want it to, and we want it to start once this gets selected. So we're going to go to frame 65 and I'm going to select the media in 1. And for the global in and out, we're going to change that to 65. But we want the animation to be there, so we just have to drag this trim to 0. Now we're going to go to the edit tab here, and I'm just going to drag on a adjustment clip. And I'm going to show you a few effects you can apply to this. So under Resolve FX, I'm going to hit the search bar and search scan lines. And I'm going to drag this on the adjustment clip. I'm going to drag the line frequency up and the line sharpness down. So if we zoom in here, you can see these little scan lines. I'm going to drag this on again And this time I'm going to drag the line angle to 90 degrees. And now if we drag up the line frequency and turn down the line sharpness, if we zoom in, it's like a computer screen, which is a pretty cool effect. And another thing I'm going to do is search fast noise. I'm going to drag this on, select water surface, and drag the contrast all the way down. And now when this plays, you'll notice that everything's kind of wobbly, which is just kind of a cool effect. Now I'm going to drag another adjustment clip on, just like this. And I'm going to place it right when we kind of see our mouse, kind of like that. I'm going to place it right here. Now with this adjustment clip, I'm going to zoom in, drag this down a little bit. On the first frame of this adjustment clip, I'm going to keyframe the position. I'm going to go to the end, and we're just going to position this over a little bit like this. I'm going to go to the keyframes, and I'm just going to select this top keyframe, select ease in, as well as this one to ease in. And all that does is kind of create a zoom in effect like that. Now let's move on to the second animation. We're going to click Effects and drag on a Fusion composition clip. We're going to go to the Fusion tab, and we're going to drag on a background. And we're going to connect it to the media out. Then we're going to click the background node, hit Shift Space, and add a merge node in. And I'm going to drag in this image of a map I got and connect it to the merge. I'm going to press Shift Space and add in a transform, and then we can size it up. Now I'm going to click the media in one and press Shift Space and search for a merge node and connect that. And then we're going to drag in another background and connect it to that merge. Whatever color this background is the color of the line. So I'm just going to go with a blue, and then I might make it a bit darker like this. Perfect. Now I'm going to hit Shift Space and search for a polygon tool, this one, and we're going to add that in. We're going to connect it to the blue output of the background, and then we're going to right click here and select Remove Polygon, whatever that said. Now we can begin to draw our line. It doesn't really matter what you choose to do, but I'm going to go with something like this. I'm going to start here, go here. Okay, so I've drawn out my path, and now with the polygon selected, we can come to border width and drag this up a little bit. I'm going to go to about 0.46. Now over here where it says length, as you can see, when we drag it down, it goes all the way down. If we drag it up, it goes all the way up. So we're going to go to the frame where we want it to start. So I'm going to go to about, I don't know, frame 25 maybe. I'm going to keyframe it, drag it all the way down. And then I'll maybe go to frame 130, and I'll drag the length all the way up just like this. If we press play, it goes like that. One thing I'm going to do is drag up this here. I'm going to duplicate these two. So I'm going to hit Command Copy, and then I'll paste it. I'm going to select this and add in another merge, just like this. And I'm going to connect this to here. I'm going to go to my background and select a dark gray, something like this. And then I'm going to go to the polygon, and I'm going to go to the last keyframe and check it. And I'm going to go to the other last keyframe and check it again. And I'm just going to drag up the length all the way. So now this line just stays still like this, but our blue line comes over top of it. Now it is a little bit dark, so I'm just going to go to background and change it to something a little bit lighter like this. Now I don't want it to just automatically be there. I kind of want it to fade in. So I'm going to go to the background. I'm going to keyframe it, go over to maybe frame 20 or maybe frame 15. Keyframe it again, go back to the first frame. I'm going to drag all the alpha outputs down. And so now the gray line fades in like this, and then the blue line starts like that. Now we're going to select this merge node and press Shift Space and add in another merge node right here. I'm going to drag in a background just like this, and I'm going to color it to something blue like before, something like that. I'm going to hit the ellipse mask, so it's a circle like this. Now I have this SM outline. This is in the asset pack again, and I'm simply going to just put this behind the background like this. I'm going to go to user and increase the width and height like this. And then I'm going to hit Shift Space and search for a transform node. And we're just going to size that down. Now I'm going to go back to the SM outline, and I'm going to increase the size of it like this. Again, we just have to drag up the height and width. And now we have something like this. Now when we hit the transform, we can size it down and place this over top of where the blue line. So if we zoom in here, we can just place it right on top of this line like this. If we click this polygon node, we can see where the animation starts. So it's right here that the line starts moving. So now we can come to this transform node, and we're simply just going to keyframe the X and Y position and then go over however many frames until it hits there. And then we're going to drag our thing there, just like this. Go over another couple frames till it hits here. And then I'll drag it there. Now it looks like this. I'm going to go over more frames, drag it like this, go over more frames till it goes to there. And then I'll drag this there. Go over a couple more frames, drag it there. And we can always zoom in and change these like this. Go over more frames till it hits right here. And then we'll drag it there, just like this. We can always come back and go like this to align the path. So then when we go back, it's like that. Pretty cool. And then we can zoom out a little bit because this is a longer section. So right here. And then drag our thing there and here. And then drag it there. And the last home stretch is right here. It ends right there. And then we can just drag it like this. Now we can go back slowly and watch to make sure that it's all synced up. So it's like this. Good. Good. Now, as you can see, the line is a little bit ahead of it there. And as you can see, that line's a little bit ahead of it there. So we can see that this is transform 2. So we can go to the spline and turn on transform 2. And the reason the line is a little bit ahead of it there is because this isn't smoothed out. So if we select this and press S, as you can see, that fixed it pretty much. Yeah, so see, I just selected this and brought this a little bit up, and then that fixed it. Good, that's pretty much all good. So we're gonna go here, and we're gonna create a little beacon effect, like a little zoom out circle effect for the start of the animation. So we're going to select these and bring them forward because it has to be behind them. I'm gonna select this merge, hit shift space and edit another merge. I'm going to bring in a background, make it a light blue color like that maybe. Hit the ellipse node. And then I'm going to hit the background and hit shift space and type in transform. And then size this down and position it underneath of our other circle, just like this. And now if we size it all the way down, it expands like this. So we're gonna have it at 0.06 right beneath it. We're gonna go to frame 1. And then we're gonna keyframe the size and go over to frame maybe 22 and increase the size like this. Now we also want it to fade out at about this point. So we're gonna select the background and we're going to keyframe it, just the top one here, selects it all. And then go to the first frame, keyframe it, last frame, and we can just drag it all down like this. So now it looks like that. Now we're quickly gonna make the widget that pops up. So we're gonna go to effects and drag on a fusion composition clip, go to the fusion tab, drag on a background. I'm gonna turn the alpha all the way down because we want it to be transparent so that we can put it on top of the map. I'm gonna hit shift space, add in a merge, add in another background, press this square, and then we can round the corners and size it down a little bit like this. We can now select the background and select kind of a dark gray like this. I'm gonna make it a little bit darker because we're actually gonna lower the transparency on the edit tab. So it'll be pretty dark. I don't know what I'm saying. Select the merge node, press shift space, add in another merge. We're gonna add in another background and change the color to kind of a lighter gray like this. I'm gonna select the mask again, turn the coordinate radius all the way up, width about there, and height quite far down, something like that. I'm gonna select the background node, press shift space, and type in transform. And we can just drag this up like this. Press the merge, press shift space like this. And I'm gonna press shift space again and search for PJT elastic follower and connect it. I'm gonna type in something like 3 mins. I'm going to change the font to San Fran Pro Display. And then I'm gonna select something like semi-bold. I'm gonna hit shift space and type in transform. Now we can size this down and drag it to about there. Now we have something that looks like that. Click the merge, press shift space, add in another merge. This time just drag a normal text node in like this. And we're gonna type in something like 3:32 p.m. ETA. And then I'm gonna change this to have a darker gray like this. I'm gonna change the font to San Fran Pro Display again, but this time make it a light font. And type in shift space, add in a transform. And then we're gonna size it down and put it right underneath. Now we're going to drag a background on and connect it to the text. We're going to have it fade in about right here. So I'm going to keyframe it, turn the alpha all the way down, go over a couple more frames, and drag the alpha all the way up. Now it looks like this. Perfect. Now we can hit the merge, hit shift space, add in another merge. I'm going to add in another background like this, and click this. And I'm going to make the background a blue like this. Select the rectangle, turn up the corner radius, turn down the width and the height. We can adjust it later. I'm going to press shift space, add in a transform, and we're going to bring this down just like this. Where this background is, I'm going to press shift space and add in a merge underneath the background. Bring in this car PNG. It's in the asset pack. I'm going to hit shift space and add in a transform first, connect it to the merge, and then connect this to the transform. This transform is going to control the car. Now we're going to animate this really quick so that we can just duplicate it for the other button. So we're going to select the rectangle and we're going to go to frame 1, keyframe the width. On the first frame, we're going to drag the width all the way down. Then we're going to go over 6 frames, expand the width to be longer than it should be, and then go over another 6 or 7 frames and down to where it should be like this. So now it looks like this. Perfect. And then we're also going to go to the frame 1 and select the transform node controlling the car. And I'm going to drag the size all the way down. Keyframe it, go over 7 frames, size it up like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then drag the car down just like that. So now we have something that looks like this. Pretty good. Now we can just select all this, press copy, hold down shift, and connect it like this. Now we can select this transform and drag it over like this. It looks like we're a little bit too big because they don't fit. So we're just going to size them down slightly. Just size it down a little bit more. Drag it over. Take this one and drag it over. Now they both fit. I'm going to select the background and make it a dark gray like that. And then I'm going to take this car logo, delete it, and bring in this walking person and connect it to the transform like that. And now they're both animated like that. We're also going to animate this box. So we're going to go to the rectangle here, keyframe the width, drag it like this, go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, drag it further than it should be, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then back down like this. One thing I forgot to mention is to go to transform and go to settings and select motion blur like this. And make sure you do this for all of them with a transform node. Now we're going to go to the edit page. We're going to drag this over top of it like this. And we're just going to turn down the opacity a little bit like this. We can just size it down a little bit and put it in the bottom corner out of the way like that. Now, I'm just going to drag this out of the way for a second because we have to go to effects and put an adjustment clip over top of this map animation. And what we're going to do is zoom in so that our dot is in the middle like this. And then I'm going to go to the point where the line starts to move, so right here. And I'm going to keyframe the position X and Y. And now we're going to do the same thing we did with this dot pretty much, but just a little bit more subtle. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Go to where the dot reaches there, and we're going to go up a little bit and over a little bit, just so the dot kind of stays in the middle there. And then we're going to go to where it kind of reaches there and go up a little bit and over a little bit like that. And then carry on till it gets to here. And we'll go as far as we can up, kind of like until it reaches, so right here. Here, I'm going to position it in the middle. And then we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kind of go here, here, go down slightly. And then we'll go to where it reaches here and drag this over like until, make sure we're not cutting off the image. So right here, go down like this and drag it down like that. And then finally home stretch here and back to the middle. I'm going to go to keyframes and we're going to select all of this and select this drop down and select ease in and out. So now we have something like this, and we have something that follows it pretty nicely like that. Now we can drag on our Fusion composition clip. When we play it, it looks like that. And now the final step is that starting page, and that's really quick. We can just drag on a Fusion composition clip, go to the Fusion page, and I'm going to put in a background node just like this. I'm going to turn down the alpha, hit Shift Space, add in a merge, drag in another background, place it on the merge, place a ellipse mask on it. Then we can select the background, hit Shift Space, and add in a transform node, and we can just size it up until it covers the screen like this. We can go to about frame 60 and keyframe the zoom or the size on the transform over another, 15 frames, and size it all the way down like this. Go to settings and turn on motion blur. Now we have something that looks like this. Perfect. We're going to click the merge, press Shift Space, add in another merge. And here you can put whatever you want, whether it's an image or text. I know that everybody has access to the elastic follower, so we can just use that and say something like hello. In the one I did, I actually added a merge like this, and then I added a background to that merge, and then I added an ellipse, and I made this background a blue. Make sure it's connected to the green. And then I pressed Shift Space, and I'm going to add a transform, size it all the way down, keyframe it, go over to frame 25 maybe, and go all the way until it covers like this. And then the background, and then we'll go to maybe frame 3 or 4, keyframe everything, and then go to frame 21 right here. Keyframe this all and turn it all down. Last step, we're going to go to where this starts shrinking. Select the text, Shift Space, transform, and we're going to keyframe the size. Go like this till it's pretty small, and size it all the way down like that. Click settings and select motion blur. Now we can go to the spot right here when it shrinks at its smallest. Drag this like this. Now it plays the text, shrinks down, and the map animation plays. It's time to move on to our final animation. Drag on a Fusion composition clip. Then we're going to go to the Fusion tab, and we're going to add in a background and connect it to the media out. I'm going to select this little box up here so it's just one screen, and then I'm going to select solid color and go to 4 corner gradient. And here I'm going to select kind of a blue color, and then I'm going to turn it down a little bit darker. I'm going to select the bottom right corner, and select that same blue, and again turn it down a little bit, just like this. Now we have a gradient that looks like this. Now I'm going to hit Shift Space and add in a merge node. I'm going to drag in this HUD display thing I got from Motion Array, and I'm going to plug it in here. I'm going to hit Shift Space and type in transform, and then we can size this up kind of like this. I'm also going to add in a background node and connect it to this media in, and I'm going to turn down the alpha slightly, just so that this is not as bright and doesn't stand out as much. We can even turn it down a little bit more. Hit the merge, hit Shift Space, add in another merge, and this time connect a background to this merge like this. Make sure it's connected to the green output like that. I'm going to select the rectangle node and turn up the corner radius, and I'm going to select the background, hit Shift Space, and add in a transform. And we can just size this up a little bit like this. Select the rectangle, turn down the corner radius a little bit, go to the background, select type, and go to 4 corner grid. Now top left, we're going to select the same blue color, but turn it down a little bit darker like that. And then same with the bottom right, select this blue color and turn it down like that. Now I'm going to make this top one actually a little bit darker. Then I'm going to select the background over here and make this slightly brighter so that we can clearly see the edge here. Now I'm going to select these two and drag them up. I'm going to select the background, hit Shift Space, and add in a drop shadow. You can turn up the blur, maybe 2 notches, and then turn down the strength, maybe 2 or 3 notches like this. Now with the drop shadow selected, I'm going to hit Shift Space and add in a merge node. And we're going to connect a background to this merge node and change the color to gray like this. Then I can select the rectangle mask and turn down the height all the way like this. Now I'm going to select this background and hit Shift Space and add in a transform so we can control it. And we're just going to bring it up like this. I'm going to go to the first frame, select the rectangle node, and drag down the width like this. Now I'm going to keyframe the width and go over maybe 10 frames, drag it up past a little bit what it should be, and then I'll go over 7-ish frames and I'll drag it back to where it should be right there. So it kind of bounces in. Now, before anything else, I'm going to select settings and turn on motion blur for this, and I'll turn up the quality. Now I'm just going to delete this rectangle really quick, copy this rectangle, paste it, and connect it to the background. Turn down the height to 0.1. Now they match just like this. Now we can clean this up a little bit, move this over, select this merge and hit shift space, add in another merge. We're going to drag in another background and connect it to the merge, and select this circle button, which is the ellipse mask, and then select the background, hit shift space, add in a transform, select the background and change the color to kind of a red, but not so bright, maybe like that. Select the transform and size this down like this to about 0.05, and then we can drag this up and in the corner. Now we can select these two and drag it up. And I'm going to hit the background, hit shift space, add in a merge node, and then hit shift space again and add in another merge. So now we have two merges. I'm going to select these two, control copy, control paste. And I'm going to select this one to the merge, select the background, hit shift space, add in a transform, and then we can just drag it over. Select this background and select a yellow, and then we can copy this again and paste it, and then connect it to this merge node. Select the background, add in a transform, and drag it over. Select the background, and we can choose a nice green color like this. Now here's something that looks like this, and now we can quickly animate this. Now because we added everything into one merge like this, we can select the last transform here, and this controls all three of them. I'm going to go to the first frame, and then we can drag it here and keyframe the XY position and go over 10 frames and drag it there, and then go over 7 frames and drag it back to where we want it. Now we're going to select this transform node and select settings and select motion blur and turn it up. Now we can select all this and drag it over like that. I'm going to select this merge node over here, press shift space, add in another merge and drag it over here. Now I'm going to drag in this other HUD effect I got from Motion Array. It's in the asset pack, and we can just connect this to the merge. Now I'm going to hit shift space, add in a transform, and then I'm going to drag in a background and connect it to the media in 2. Now we can size it down, and then we can select the background and turn down the alpha just like this. I'm simply going to copy this and paste it over here. I'm going to hold down shift and place it here. Now position it over, and then again I'm going to copy this, click over here, paste it over here, hold down shift and drag it on the timeline here. Then again we can select the transform node and bring it over just like this. I don't want them to all start at the same time, so we're going to go to this first one, select the media, and I'm going to go over as many frames until it's inside the box, so it looks like frame 5. And then up here it says global in and out. There's a 0 and a 453. We're going to change this 0 to number 5. And that means this won't appear until frame 5 now. So as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it appears. Now we're going to go over 3 frames, 1, 2, 3. So that would be frame 8. We're going to select this one and type in the number 8. And so now this one appears on frame number 8. Again, we'll go over 3 more frames, which would be frame 11. And we can select this one and select 11. Now we can select this media out and drag it over like this. I'm going to select this merge, hit shift space, add in another merge node. What we're going to do is drag in this folder PNG I got from Canva and connect it to the merge green output like this. I'm going to hit shift space, add in a transform node, and we can just size it to be kind of in the middle of this. Now with the media in selected, I'm going to hit shift space and add in a merge node, and then hit shift space, add in a transform node, and connect it to that merge node. This is for the text on the file. Shift space and search PJT, and we're going to select the elastic follower, which all of you guys have access to in the folder pack, and click add. I'm going to connect this to the transform, change the color to black, and I'll type in something like file bracket 1 bracket. Or I guess this one would be file 2 because it's in the middle. Now I'm going to select the font and select Tactic Sans Medium. You can just search this online and download it for free. It'll be the first link. Tactic Sans Medium. I'm going to select the transform and I'm going to size this down. Now what we're going to do is animate this file. I'm going to go to frame 9. Now on frame 9 here, I'm going to select the transform, size this all the way down to 0, keyframe it, go over 7 frames, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, And then I'm going to size this all the way up like this, a little bit past all of this. And then I'm going to go over 6 frames, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and drag this down. Now I'm going to select the transform, select settings, and turn on motion blur. And we have something that looks like this. Now, something we can do about right here in between when it's zooming in, we can select the aspect and keyframe it, go over 3 frames so that the highest point, and we can stretch it like this. And then go over another 3 frames, 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 frames, and then set it back to 0. So now when it comes in, it stretches and then it comes down. Here is our first one. So now we can select this, select it all, hit Command Copy, click over here and paste it. Holding down Shift, we can bring it into our timeline, and selecting the transform, because we didn't keyframe anything on X and Y, we can just drag it over just like this. And we can simply grab this text and change it to file 1, just like that. We have to look at this and see that it's transform 8_1. So if we go to the spline, we can unselect everything that's not 8_1. And we're left with just this animation. And this, we want this to come before it. So we want to go 3 frames before the last animation. So that'd be frame 6. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So on frame 6, we want it to start. So we can select all of this and simply drag it there. Now we can grab all of this, Command Copy, click over here and paste it, and then hold down Shift and bring in the timeline. Again, we can select the transform node and just drag it over like this. Select the text and change it to file 3. Now we want this to happen 3 frames after the last one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The first one starts, 1, 2, 3. The second one starts, 1, 2, 3. Frame 12. Okay. So we'll just keep it here. Look that this is transform 8_2. So we're just going to unselect everything that's not 8_2, which is right here. And we're already on the frame we want it to be on. So we're just going to select all of this and drag it there. Now they all start at a different time. Now, one thing we need to fix is we need to drag the text animation, because as you can see, for most of these, it's already animated before you can already see it. So about right here, we want the animation to start for this one. So we can look, and this is text 1. Line, unselect everything, and go to text 1 right here. Select all this and simply drag it. Now, right here is probably where we want the other one to start. So we can unselect this one, find 1_2. Select it all and drag it. Now we're going to select this merge, hit Shift Space and edit another merge. We're going to drag in this mouse button I found and connect it to the merge. Hit Shift Space and add in a transform node. And now we can size it down and drag it over and down. Now we can go to the animation where we want it to start coming up. So let's say right frame 20. I'm going to select the transform node, keyframe the X and Y position, and go over 15 frames. Drag it up and over like this. Now I'm going to come back about 7 frames like this. I'm going to keyframe the angle, come over about 2 frames past 35, rotate the angle back, go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frames, and click it like this. So rotate it the other way. So now it looks like it comes up. Right about here is where it starts to turn to the right, and then clicks and turns to the left. Now from this position, we're going to keyframe the X and Y position, and then go over 15 frames, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and drag this out of here like this. Of course, go to settings and turn on motion blur. So now we have something that looks like this, grabs it and drags it out. Now on the point where it clicks down, so right here, we're going to select this transform node, or I'm sorry, this one, and we're going to keyframe the X and Y position, and we're going to go over 15 frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's where this exits. And we can just drag this out like this. Now, if we go back, you can see it's not completely lined up. So we have to go to transform 8 in the spline here. And we're going to uncheck size and aspect and uncheck transform 10, obviously. And we're left with just the animation we just made. I'm going to select this part and press S. And as you can see, it already lines up with it way more. Press S on this one. There, that's pretty close. I smooth this out and then smooth this out a little bit like this way. So now they line up perfectly. It drags it out, and this is done. So now we can go to the edit page, and we can drag on adjustment clip, and we can just drag it to the part of the animation like maybe right here. Keyframe that position, go to the first frame, zoom in like this, go to keyframes, select this keyframe, and select ease in. Now we have something that looks like that. So I'm going to actually cut this right when it leaves the frame like this. Cut both of these by pressing Command B and then selecting these and deleting it. Go to Effects and drag on another Fusion composition clip. Going to go to the Fusion tab, and now we can build our second part of the animation. All right, so again, I'm going to drag on a background and connect it to the media out. You can select four corner gradient and quickly select this blue again, turn it down, select this blue again, and turn it down like that. Select the background, hit Shift Space and add in a merge. And I'm going to select this background, connect it like this, and select this rectangle mask. I'm going to drag up the width all the way and height down like this. And then I can select the background, add in a transform node, and we can drag this up like this. And I'm going to turn down the alpha just like this. And I'm also going to select this background, hit Shift Space, add in another merge behind this. I'm going to connect this HUD display again, add in a transform node, increase the size just like this. I'll add in a background connected to this media and turn down the alpha just so it's a little bit more transparent. Now what I'm going to do is actually go back to the Edit tab, move this adjustment clip, go to the Fusion clip, go to the Fusion tab, and I'm going to grab this, which is the buttons. I'm going to copy all of that, press Command C, go back to the Edit tab, back to this one, and press the Fusion tab, paste it in, hold down Shift, and just like that, we have all our buttons. I'm going to select the transform and press this little button in the corner, which resets it. And we can just press down the size like this, bring this up just like this. Now we can select this merge, hit Shift Space, add in another merge. I'm going to hit Shift Space, search PJT. I'm going to select the PJT letter zoom in. If you don't want to buy the text pack, you can just use the elastic follower. It'll look pretty much the same. And I'm just going to connect that and type in some numbers like 13. Again, I'm going to go to font, go to the bottom and select the Tactic Sans. I'm going to go with the black version. And then I'll turn this to a bit of a gray color like this. Just with the text node selected, I'm going to hit Shift Space and add in a transform. And we can just size this down like this and like that. Now, one thing I'm going to do is come over here, select this merge, hit Shift Space, add in another merge, and select this background, connect it to the merge. I'm going to hit Shift Space, add in a transform, and I'm just going to drag this down right under here. And then I'll select the background and turn down the alpha. I'm going to make it brighter like this and continue to turn down the alpha on all of these outputs. Now we have something that looks like this. Now we can just drag this and drag it under there to save some space. Hit this merge node, hit Shift Space, add in a merge. Now we're going to build the folder holder thing. To begin, I'm going to drag in a background and connect it to this merge. I'm going to select the rectangle. I'm going to select the background, four corner gradient, and simply make the same combo as always using this blue. Now I added in this SM outline effect. You can download it in the asset pack for free. And if we just put this under the background and then go to user and increase the width and height, you can see that it makes a line around everything. And we can just turn down the size like this. So I'm going to select this SM outline, press Shift Space, add in a transform, and drag this down just like this. Now, one thing I'm going to do is select the background and actually make this slightly lighter. I'm going to bring this transform node down, select these and bring them up. I'm going to select the SM outline, press Shift Space, and add in a merge. And now I'm just going to copy this like this. Command copy, click over here, paste it, add in another transform node, and connect it to the green output of the merge. And then this can go into the transform like that. I'm going to select the rectangle and decrease the height like this. Select the transform, drag it down, and then I'm going to fix this SM outline by turning down the size. All right, so now we have something like this. Now you can see if we select this transform, it moves everything, which is what we want. And we're going to select this merge, hit Shift Space, add in another merge. With this one, we can hit Shift Space, add in a transform node, connect this to the merge, search PJT, and we're going to add in the elastic follower again. And we can just plug this into the transform. I'm going to type in something like risk stats with all caps. I'm going to select the font as Tactic Sans Medium, select the transform, and then we can just size this down like this. We can move this up. I'm going to select this merge again, hit Shift Space, add in a merge, and just add in a normal text this time and connect it to that merge. Hit Shift Space and add in a transform. Select that text node. And I'm going to write something like 3 power bins. Font to thin. drag this down, select the transform, and position it right about here. I'll just add a background to this one like this. Go to the first frame, keyframe the alpha, drag it all the way down, and then go over to maybe frame 10 and drag the alpha up. So now it fades in like that. So now we can come back to the top of this node right here and drag this up even higher, select the SM outline and add in a merge node, and another merge node. So how the merge nodes work when you stack them like this is the ones on the top are the ones behind. And so we want it to be in front of this one behind. So it's going to be below this top one, which is this, but then they're actually on top of these ones. So it's going to be underneath this. So it's going to look like they're inside of this folder. So I'm going to hit Shift Space, add in a transform node, connect it to this merge through the green output. I'm going to drag in this folder PNG, and then I'm going to connect it to this transform node, just like this. Now I can select the transform node and size this up. And as you can see, it's in front of this one and behind this one. That's how we want it. Now we can simply copy this and paste it, and then select it to this one. And then we can copy this one, and then we can just paste it again right here and connect it to the green output. The ones on the top are behind, so these two are going to be behind. So if we select the transform and rotate the angle and drag it over, it's behind. And if we grab this one, rotate the angle and drag it behind. Now it's kind of hard to tell that they're actually behind it. So we can select this media in, hit Shift Space, add in a drop shadow, and then select it, turn down the drop distance, up the blur, and now you can tell that they are behind it. Now, the reason we built it this way, so it's a big tower, is we can now select this transform node and animate it all coming up. So if we go to frame 1, drag it all the way down, keyframe it, go over 7 frames maybe, drag it up, go over another couple frames and drag it down just like this. Now we have something that looks like that. Now we can look at this as transform 8, go to the spline, and we're going to turn on transform 8, and we can maybe we can go like this and see if we can get a bit better looking bounce. Yeah, that's a lot better. So I basically just selected this keyframe and dragged the keyframe up, and now it's a little bit more bouncy. Drag this out a little bit and smooth it out this way. And of course, we're going to go to settings and turn on motion blur. Now, if you want to add more to it, we can select this transform node and go to like frame 10, and you can drag these down individually, keyframe them, go over a couple frames, drag them up, go over another couple frames, and then drag them down. It'll give you kind of another shake effect. But the final step is to drag this out, select this merge, hit Shift Space, add in another merge, drag this over, and we can simply bring our mouse in, connect it, hit Shift Space, add in a transform, and then we can just size it down like this, rotate it this way because it's still dragging, remember, and then we'll just position it over here, go to the first frame here, maybe 3 frames, keyframe it, and then go over maybe 10 or 15 frames, come over here, go over another 5 frames for it to drop, keyframe it, and then go over 10 or 15 frames, maybe shorter, 10 frames, and then let it drop down like this. Now we're actually going to come here, and on this frame, keyframe the angle, go over 5 frames, rotate it, and that way it comes down, rotates, and then drops down like this. And of course, go to settings and turn on motion blur. Now, again, we can come back here, 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 and we're just going to grab this file. So transform 8, and we can grab all this, copy, come back here, drag this merge over, you can hold down Shift and drag on the merge into our timeline. And then we can come to the transform and just reset it completely and then size it up. It's a little bit hard to see, so we can select this media in, hit Shift Space, add in a drop shadow, down the shadow strength and up the blur. And we're going to replace this text because we don't need it to be elastic follower because the text already did that. So we can just delete that. Drag in another text and drag it to this transform. Type in something like file 2 bracket. Change the color to black and text sense medium. And now we can select the transform. Again, go to frame 1, 2, 3. Drag this all the way over. Keyframe that. Go to where the mouse right here. Drag our file over just like this, right about there. Now we're going to keyframe the zoom and go over maybe 7 or 8 frames, and zoom it all the way down like that. So now now it comes over, the mouse drops it. We're gonna make sure we go to settings and turn on motion blur. I'm going to select this adjustment clip because it can be about the same. And one thing I'm gonna do is go to effects and search for a vignette. Drag that on just like this. Drag up the softness and up the size. And now you're done. If any of you guys made it this far, that's awesome. You still have an attention span. See you in the next one.